how are you maneuvering your own program with today's kind of trend?
Well, that and that's that, to be honest, that is the most worrisome part, really, to me. Um, in that, I have a particular type of dog that I want to breed, right? One that's healthy, one that's functional, one that definitely looks like a bully, but is not overdone to the point where it can't be a dog, right? And the market right now is so focused on the overdone dog, a lot of unhealthy dogs in a lot of ways. Um, just trying to put too much mass on a frame. And back when I first got started in bullies, I fell in love with a certain type of dog. That look, right? That and so that's what I'm sticking with. And of course, the biggest concern is that um, when you breed those type of dogs, right? Especially when you're relatively new like I am. I mean, I just had my second litter this year. And even though I have a lot of knowledge, I'm still, I had some bumps in my program when we were first starting out that set us back or we'd be further along than what we are, right? But that is what it is. But you worry about, man, I breed these dogs. Is anybody going to show up for them? Is the marketplace really going to respond, uh, to this type of dog? And um, last year's litter when we did the photo shoot when they were about 11 weeks old, I would say that, I mean, they weren't big, heavy boned pups. I would say that maybe they definitely resembled a little bit more terrier like than bulldog like, right? As young puppies. And you know, um I ended up keeping. Now, I was fortunate that I had six females and two males, right? Out of a litter of eight. And I was had a deal with the breeder where we were doing a pup back thing. So he got a puppy, and Welper got a puppy, and that's how I paid her. She took a puppy. Um, I did sell two pups, and so I ended up, there were two females that I planned on selling that I couldn't sell. Um, and I'm like, well, what do you do, right? You keep them. And man, about 9, 10 months, those puppies just blew up, man. That first pop, they just started to change, right? Those heads, I mean, one of those females passed away from pyometra, unfortunately, but I still have the three. And I mean, they're pockets, but very compact, very solid, really nice dogs, and it's like, you have to, people are in such a dadgum hurry. They don't want to wait for these dogs to develop. And I believe that you have to trust what you're breeding, and that development will come along, right? But and it certainly has. I mean, let's see, what are we into now? We're 10, 5. They're 17 months old now. I mean, they're really coming into their own, and they're good looking. They're good, damn good looking dogs. And but at 11 weeks, I couldn't get $1,500 for one. So that vision that I have for my dogs, I'm in some ways I'm ignoring the broader marketplace, right? As to what's hot and popular right now, right? Because as you well know, fads come and go, right? Used to be back in the day, blue dogs were popular. Then it was tri dogs were popular. Now it's fawn dogs are popular. And granted, that's a color thing, but that also goes to type in a lot of ways as well. Now, I will say that I hear a lot more discussion now, and almost like the wind is changing a little bit. There's a little bit of an undercurrent, right, of change of talking more about longevity and health within the community, right? So part of me is, I like to think that maybe I'm having some influence there, or at least I'm participating in that dialogue, right? And that it's making a difference because we do have way too many dogs that die too early. And truly, why would I want to breed dogs and sell a dog, an unhealthy dog, to a family for it to die within 5 years? That's traumatic for a family or young kids and that kind of thing. And so, when I say I'm trying to breed healthy dogs, I test my dogs. I go through all these things to try to make sure that I'm breeding responsibly and breeding the best dogs that I can.
Is there a happy medium, or do you just go with what you have now and you just try to create your own marketplace?
Well, what they want, is they want a 14-inch dog that weighs 90 pounds that has a 26-inch head, and I mean, I have a dog with a 26-inch head, but he's 17 inches tall and he weighs 85 pounds, you know. And look, I had a male that was 16 inches tall at the wither, weighed 65 pounds, really nice looking dog, you know. And as far as the show ring goes, there was just not a place for him. He didn't have enough mass to compete in the pocket class, you know. And so I really see. So here's what I'm trying to do. I like my dogs around 15 to 17 inches tall. And so even though one champion female, Maggie, is 13 inches tall, first time we bred her, we had pups that range 14 and a half to 16 inches tall. Okay. So, and this next time around, I'm taking one of her daughters, two of the tallest ones, so even though they're pockets, I'm breeding them to standard males. Okay. So we're trying to get a little bit more height. And my females are very, very compact. Okay. So the difference between the way a bodybuilder moves and say a track athlete, right? Completely different in the way that they move, right? So to me, a pocket dog with all the mass, they tend to kind of waddle, roll, maybe more of a bulldog rolling type movement as opposed to a fluid, forward reaching, driving off the rear kind of movement, right? So that's kind of where the pocket class is at. Um, I do want to compete there, but I want to compete there at the upper end of the pocket dog for for that very reason, for movement, for the quality of movement, right? And athleticism in that dog. Now, huge market, uh, from what I understand, in the in the micros, right? Below something below standard, right? But and look, there's a market for those dogs, but I breed show dogs, so I breed to the standard, right? So I'm not breeding for dogs that are out of standard. So micros kind of exclude me. I don't breed for that at all. So I'm trying to and even with my even with my standard line, I'm still trying to stay in that 17 and a half inch range. Now, 16 inches for a female is a standard, right? So with my males, my females, I really, if I had my preference, all of my dogs would be between 15 and 17 inches tall. And I would say between 70 and 95 pounds. Okay. Um, so with, a proportion for me is the most important thing. There's no point of having a 26-inch head on a dog that it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean? So balance and proportion are really my goals. Me personally, I don't like where the market is going. I don't like the focus uh, on extreme. Um, as we know, professional bodybuilders typically have a very short life, in relative terms to everyone else, right? Um, these dogs, the heart size doesn't change. You add all this mass and all these other things onto it, you just shorten the lifespan of the dog. And it's just not my goal.